Hey gang, Jeff Stone here, going into a diabetic coma for your viewing pleasure at magicreviewed.com. So first, I just want to show you how fairly you can handle this bottle. I'm not going to throw it up in there and juggle it. This is Evaporation by Louie Foxx, and I'm going to show you what it's made to do. I'm not actually performing it. You wouldn't actually necessarily do it this way. Okay, but I'm taking the lid off. And you have the ability to control the volume of the juice. Okay, like this is at a tilted, weird angle here. I'm going to put this lid back on because I'm afraid I'm going to spill it all over my laptop. Okay, that's the basic, that's what the prop does, all right? What you do with that is up to you. But if you're familiar with the old... by the way, the reason I said I'm going into a diabetic coma for you is I actually am using real juice in there, and in order to do it, you accidentally have to get you may get a little bit of juice in your mouth. I did it with water originally when I first tested the product because I didn't want to get juice in my mouth. And then I was going to try it with Diet Dr. Pepper, brought to you in part by, but due to the nature of the gimmick, the Dr. Pepper doesn't quite work. The reason I'm not using water in the demo right now is because it's clear, and I just didn't know if you'd be able to see the change in the level. So I just went with juice, with actual Sunny D juice. Anyway, that being said, the gimmick is like, if you remember the old milk pitchers, you have a newspaper or something, you're going to apparently pour milk into it. And when you do, the milk vanishes, and it's not in the newspaper anymore, but you can actually see the level of the milk go down in the milk pitcher. This is the exact same concept. I'm looking over here because it's sitting on my table right over there. It's the same idea. Excuse me. But it's a more modern version and a more, as Louie Foxx points out in his video, who knows what a milk pitcher is these days anymore, right? I don't think I ever used a milk pitcher for real in my life, ever. I've seen soda pitchers and water pitchers, but not so much a milk pitcher. And I worked in a restaurant. So, this is a prop that makes a lot more sense. It's more modern. And the cool thing about this particular prop is you can put it in your case. You never have to refill the liquid ever, unless it just truly does evaporate a little bit over time. With the milk pitcher, you got to take the thing apart and redo stuff and pour stuff. This is all completely self-contained. You saw how freely I could handle it. And then once you take the lid off, your handling is not as free, but it's still very, 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 very free. And so the only thing that's tricky, and if you watch the demo, you'll see he kind of messed this up a little bit. As you're pouring, you have to time the pour with the magical lowering of the level of the juice, because if not, you just end up with this thing where the juice disappears and you pour nothing in your hand. And so you have to just get the timing down, and that's just the thing that's going to come with practice. But the gimmick that you get is you get that bottle I showed you, which is already rigged up to do the illusion. It's all set, ready to go. Plus, there's one part that's kind of will, over time, give out, and you'll want to replace it. It comes with that one of those replacement parts, but fear not. Those replacement things are... You probably have a bunch of them already in your magic drawer. Yeah, if not, they're super cheap and easy to find, so don't worry about that. So the video is not the best quality, but it covers everything. I mean, he has tons of ideas of what to do. You know, pouring red juice in your hand and then it turns to a red silk, or pouring orange juice into a cup and then it turns into an actual orange, or on and on and on. There's so many different things you can do with it. Anything you thought of doing with the milk pitcher, you can do with this now. and you can use, and he shows you how to gimmick other bottles so so you can still do the same thing. So it's easiest if you're gimmicking a plastic bottle, but he actually says you can do it with a metal bottle, and he had one that he gimmicked. He just didn't show how you have to modify the bottle slightly, and I know exactly how I would do that on the plastic one. On the glass one, I have a rough idea, but I'm afraid that I will break the glass bottle with my idea. And so I'd like to have seen some tips or pointers on how to do that. But that aside, there's not a whole lot more to say about this thing. I mean, the gimmick works well, easy to replace. The ad copy is 100% accurate. What else do you need, folks? The question is, do you have a need to be able to apparently pour a liquid into something without actually pouring it? If you need that, this is the answer. No doubt about it. Don't make the mistake I did by putting soda in there, because the pressure of the soda has actually caused me to have to slightly repair my gimmick. So don't do what I did. Don't put soda in there. Anyway, I don't know what else to tell you guys. 5 stars, Stone Status, a gem. It's method solid. The ad copy's solid. The product's well made. Blah, blah, blah. The end. 5 stars. Stone Status, a gem. So, now that the review's over, you know what that means? It means it's time to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and listen to the random iTunes song of the moment, which is... Oh, man. Why isn't it playing? There we go. I've been getting some obscure stuff here. Let's Hang On by Frankie Valli. Funny thing about Frankie Valli, there was one song that I loved from Frankie Valli, and it was called Can't Take My Eyes Off You. That's one of my all-time favorite songs. And it's, if you'd seen 10 Things I Hate About You with Heath Ledger and Julia Stiles, I think is Julia Stiles, is that the cook? Anyway, the girl that's in the Bourne movies, whatever. Who cares? If you saw the 10 Things I Hate About You, yeah, it's Julia Stiles. Julia Childs is the cook. Anyway. 10 Things I Hate About You. He sings this song to her up in the bleachers. Really cool. But I always liked that song growing up. And then I decided, I'm going to get their album. So I go into iTunes. I'm going to download just that song, actually. And I just look at the other songs. I'm like, hey, that song title sounds familiar. So I play it. I'm like, oh, I know that song. Oh, I know that song. All of a sudden, there's like 10 Frankie Valli songs. I had no idea that he was the singer, or that it was his band or his group or whatever. And so it turns out I'm a big Frankie Valli fan and didn't even know it. Anyway, this is Let's Hang On, which is one I wasn't familiar with, by Frankie Valli. Today is the day of rambly reviews. Sorry, folks. Tune in next time where we got a holiday-themed review. Santa Appears by John Kaplan. I figured it's about that time of year too, so I need to let you know if you need this or not for your holiday show. Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace out.